Back with another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, June 27th. 3 days until the pinball tables for Pinball Arcade, or at least a large collection of them, will no longer be available for purchase. No longer an issue for me. I now own them all due to the Steam summer sale, but now would also be the right time to buy them. Sadly, they're not on discount. However, there's still reason to buy games even when they're not on discount with the Steam summer sale, if you want to get the trading cards and create the summer badge. Or heck, you get those trading cards and you can sell them for at least a dime each, so you can get small amounts, about a dime off the cost of $10. Exactly $10 of things, or every increment of $10 of games you buy. Can't trade anything else out, so I guess we're gonna play spells and spells. I guess that's easy enough to figure it out. Oh man, and I'm gonna have to come back, I guess, in less than an hour. This Time Tinkerers event has been really generous. It really hasn't done anything, but it really didn't need to do anything either. It just needed to be generous and give us dust with gold and a better chance at getting 100 gold or 80 gold than getting 60. I have not seen a single one of these daily quests since this event started that was less than 60. So much so, this has been so generous that I've spent extra time playing my secondary account, which is kind of a unimportant, pointless account. I'm just going in here to see if I have something that can play spells. Yeah, we have something already labeled as spells, so I think we're good to go here. And I guess that means I need to move forward on the news also. Spell, here we go. Play that. I may have even won enough ranked wins to get the card back on my secondary account, which that certainly doesn't happen. There's like no reason for it to happen either. Every start of this stream now feels like a confession about how I really didn't do any work. I got distracted on a side project, going shopping basically, and because of that, yesterday didn't work. It's the middle of the summer in the United States. The temperatures are extremely high. Going out and doing anything is roughly 3 times as exhausting as it probably should be, as it normally would be. So yeah, I have to be real careful about that. I did wake up also particularly early this morning, around 9 a.m. and I was thinking about doing some recording before I started streaming, but I frankly was doing so much other stuff with the Steam summer sale. Like the clicker game is still going on. I'm still going forward with that. I haven't won any games, though, as far as I know. It seems like the way the clicker game animates and shows, it seems like you're mining for games. So in theory, just being in the main menu of the game kind of indicates that you're not mining for games at that time, so you're actually not increasing your odds of getting a game. However, the way the game is explained in the instructions at the bottom says you really just have to be on a planet, and so you click on one of the planets, and at that point you've landed, or you're in orbit of that planet, I suppose, in the menu of the game, and a counter starts going up, and the explanation of the counter is the idea is explained as the longer you're on a planet, the higher your chances of winning. However, Steam also certainly kind of misleads with that exact same line, because of with booster packs, because they say the higher your level by making badges, the increase in the amount of booster packs that you're eligible for, that you're likely to get. However, even around level 76 now, I'm not really seeing booster packs appear. So I don't know what to get from that, other than it's just not fully accurate. I don't think. It could be, certainly, even though I have like 904 games now, the number always goes up. The number of ones I've played that have trading cards in them, and that I've played enough to the point where it would make it I'd be eligible for booster packs, might be rather low. And so, you know, it might not be a terrible idea, particularly in the next, I suppose not summer sale, but the next big sale would be somewhere around the month after October, so like 5 months from now. If I was really gonna say this for that specific sale, I'm gonna focus just on buying trading cards, it would make kind of sense to launch all those games and idle all the games to get all the trading cards for games I haven't played. Whereas up to this point, I've not done that. I've only been trying to complete badges on games that I have played, and maybe that would knock me up to a level 200 or something. But that seems like that is also some craziness with no clear idea or goal at the end of that craziness. It seems like it's just a dumb game designed to waste your money on, kind of like playing the lottery, because the odds seem extremely low, and that's kind of what it is, I guess. It is a fancy dressed up lottery system in which maybe you'll win a booster pack, maybe you'll get something else during this clicker game, during the summer sale, but
I can't do that.
I'm looking through the discovery queue, and so that took a while, and just looking at news in general takes a little bit of while. But I am, again, like last stream, there's probably only going to be 2 recordings today. I don't see a great reason why there wouldn't be. So let's start doing with the news. Gematsu has an article. Utawaru Mono Zan adds Realithi and Kokopo Jack DeWalt update. Okay, so that is a big mouthful. The name of the game is Utawari Rumono, which is a hugely long word. UTAWARERUMONO space Zan, Z-A-N. It's probably a visual novel on the PS4. It's coming out. Let's see. Yeah, it's due out for the PS4 September 27th in Japan. Looks fine. It's not a visual novel. It's more of a JRPG, but without a slight difference.
I wonder.
Without a different
Job's
bit of information saying it's coming to the west. I guess there's really nothing to say there, and I doubt it's the most important. Wow, I'm dropping the ball on speaking today. I doubt it's the biggest JRPG ever. So, or maybe it has a different name. So, Cyan, as part of their 25th anniversary Kickstarter thing, apparently one of the things they said they would do is post a 3D models to Thingiverse, which, if they're on Thingiverse, I'm not sure if you can download them or if you have to purchase it through Thingiverse itself. But they're like 3D prints of the first buildings in on Mist Island in the first game. Apparently there's a button here that also says you can tip the designer. And there's like one person following them and 83 there's 83 people following Cyan Incorporated on Thingiverse, and then there's one person that they are following. So that'll be slightly interesting to 3D printing world, although frankly every time I look into 3D printing it seems like it becomes this again game with no clear objective at the end. It seems like it costs too much money, takes too much time, takes way too much time to print something interesting. And when you do print something interesting, it seems to almost always be built around... Why is that music playing?
Job's done.
Like the builds that you 3D print often have to be sanded and painted, and yeah, it probably is easier to 3D print something than CNC it with wood or metal or cast it or do anything else. But unless you're making some kind of mechanical thing that is improving your life or is a part for a bigger device, it doesn't seem like the toy aspect of 3D printing is worth it, because the toy, just as a toy, the 3D print is not that interesting looking. It's usually one color too. That being said, I guess this is cool that they're putting 3D prints out there. But yeah, I've yet to find a great 3D printer that's super fast, that prints at a high detail, doesn't screw up, and doesn't leave a lot of hanging chad and points where you can see the print lines. Something that looks like a final product. I wish they can get it to the point where you could order, say, a Barbie doll from a 3D printer, and it would print out and look exactly like a Barbie doll that was made in a factory somewhere. And that was something even Toys R Us was thinking about doing. I don't know if they ever implemented that, but it never really happened. And I still think like the Office stores, Office Max, Office... what's the other one called? There's an Office Max and maybe an Office Depot. That we're starting to do a little bit of that.
The light shall bring
Prototyping and 3D printing makes sense though. If you are a manufacturer or working with a manufacturer to make something, and you want to 3D print a model to see how it feels and looks in your hand before you finalize a design and send it off to a factory, that makes sense. But end user 3D printing really hasn't worked. And when you get away from end user 3D printing and you're talking about like $1 million 3D printers, yeah, they do a lot better job because you get what you're paying for. Of course, I'm going on to a rant against 3D printing when I really don't have time for that, so let's move on. There's a game on Steam called Sphera? S-P-A-E-R-A? It says it's a game about relaxation. We've seen this before, where it's kind of an asset flip with just relaxing things. This one has a weird, dull looking with basically the black levels. The contrast is turned way too high, would be my guess, and it's because the lowest, deepest, darkest blacks are actually very bright grays and bluish grays. It shifts the way the entire images look. This is labeled as an eventual casual action game, but in all honesty, it seems like it's mostly a rather pretty looking asset flip game, walking simulator. It's 30% off for $6.99 if anyone's interested, but I don't think you should be. Hey, and this developer is not even on Steam anymore according to that click. Let's try that again. There they go. The other two games published by the same publisher, which is the same name as the developer, have mixed reviews. No real surprise there. Since I was out shopping yesterday, I ran into some Lego Dimensions things on sale. So like the Lego Dimensions Portable Power for the Xbox 360, I found it on clearance for $15. That was $60 each. Every single fun pack that's just like a character pack, which includes one character and one vehicle. Every single one of those was pretty well discounted. Not amazingly well discounted. Not as good of a discount as what I got from the Toys R Us closing sale, but also I would say that the Toys R Us going out of business sale only had 2 Lego Dimensions things, and so I got 2 things really cheap. Because I got those 2 things really cheap, I was halfway committed to getting the actual video game component. Since now I got the starter set of the video game component, it makes sense now to just go at least far enough down the rabbit hole of buying Lego Dimension things on clearance. They're also cheap on Amazon.com right now. And since Amazon's Prime Day is happening, I believe July 16th, I wouldn't be surprised if everything goes pretty cheap then. In fact, it might even be a better deal to not even wait that long. Getting the level packs are the important things if you're actually going to play the Lego game. If you just want to buy the Legos, then you need to wait until it is particularly cheap discount, because while each fun pack is at most like it's gonna be like $6 to $12. That's really a lot for very few custom Lego pieces. You're basically buying rather expensive minifigs.
In the light's name.
But Lego really never has had as much of a application of a Hot Wheels model, where you certainly can go buy certain Hot Wheels cars individually for $2.50 when you're getting the Lego Dimension character packs, and it's one character and one vehicle that's of the same theme of the character. And the vehicles are very varied, so they're technically vehicles, but very few of them actually look like vehicles. Oops. I had like several other things I should have played. So yeah, I'm down that rabbit hole. I want to get the remaining levels. There are also some level packs that I want to get, but there's also a considerable number of characters that, if I don't get them, I don't get them. Doesn't matter. that much. But if I could get the complete collection too, yeah, whatever. Like, I keep going down the Lego rabbit hole, so that the real world Lego rabbit hole, because playing the Lego games on PC is not satisfactory on my computer. So yeah, I'm moving down that, and now would be, I guess, the time to buy. I'm moving on back to video game news though. Like, my channel is right now I'm rather obsessed with Lego, and my channel's getting rather obsessed with Lego, and I think that's just not the way things should go or will go. Moving on though, Gamasutra has an article. Blizzard applied for a patent on Overwatch's play of the game highlight system. This was back in 2016, and I don't think they're gonna get it even if they tried. In general, I don't think software deserves patents at all. For copyright is different than patents, and the laws and how things are handled are different.
Job's done.
One thing that I thought about, and this is just like a half thought that flurried in my head, is the fact that at least in the United States, the copyright law has really put the burden on people being accused of violating copyright to the most extreme degree. So anybody in the United States, and you see this on YouTube in particular, can claim they own the copyright of anything, and they have to give no proof. There's no registration system really for most things, if not everything, through the Copyright Office. So it's not like you're filing for a patent and getting a patent number. You just automatically have a copyright if you made something and you weren't working under some kind of employment agreement of the company. So the truth is, a company or a university probably has and owns the copyright, so it's not even individual people that are benefiting from the copyright system. So yeah, there's the fact in my mind that the US government has stepped away and said, we're not going to deal with copyright, we're going to make you take it to the court system and make anybody claiming copyright sue you, and then make you, as potentially just a broke YouTuber like me, have to spend thousands of dollars on lawyers to defend themselves, is really unfair. And there's another issue there of the fact that the reason why Content ID exists at all is because of the DMCA laws. And in the DMCA laws, it really says the websites like YouTube have to be responsible and handle all copyright claims, and just remove anything that's claimed directly as a copyright claim without really applying any logic or intelligence there. So it's really this odd shoving of responsibility onto YouTube, and you know you're probably in the wrong position if you're actually defending YouTube. I mean, it doesn't happen that often for a reason. But in this case, it really is an instance of, like, if YouTube is being forced to do work that both the United States copyright and the basically the Congress and Senate who passed and wrote the DMCA laws, if they're just pushing all the responsibility to a private corporation, that's not right. There should be more government involvement if the government wants to pass and enforce a law, in my mind. I don't know. Like, I don't know, maybe many people would probably argue there shouldn't be more government involvement or the law. Fair enough, I kind of agree, but it's kind of ridiculous that there's nobody oversighting it or controlling it or putting any kind of sanity in the DMCA or copyright in general. Like I said, that was a half thought out thought that I just had a few hours ago, so maybe I won't even feel the same way in a few more hours. Let's move on with the news though. We Happy Few is getting a second chance in Australia, according to PC Gamer. The game was effectively banned from the country last month. So, in comparison to P Cubed, which I believe is the publisher of the game Omega Labyrinth Z, that has now been announced to never come to the West. It feels like Gearbox in this instance knows what's up, and they know who to talk to, and they know who to bribe, and this is just baseless speculation here. And so I imagine Gearbox has influenced them so that they will at least reconsider it. Although, I don't know how they're going to come out with anything different under the Australian classification, because it seemed like in the previous articles, and it still seems like right now, the quote here is, in the case, games that are depicting drug misuse or addiction in such a way that they offend against the standards of morals, decency, or propriety generally accepted by reasonable adults will be refused classification. So unless they're changing that rule, I don't see how there's a different outcome. Yeah, it just seems like the same thing is going to happen in a few more weeks or a month. Unless, you know, We Happy Few gets rid of the drug. Like, unless they get rid of the drug mechanic, I don't see why the thing would be any different. However, according to the article, the classification board announced today, this is probably a couple days old article, that it will consider an appeal on the RC next month, and extended an invitation to individuals and organizations to apply for standing as an interested party. So, as somebody in the United States, it probably doesn't matter what I do or say, because this is Australian. But if you're an Australian video gamer, I think the thought here is to actually try and influence these people, or perhaps better influence somebody who would be influential. So you probably won't see the ESRB bothering with it, but maybe the companies that make up the ESRB would. I wouldn't be surprised if Gearbox is an interested party. I wouldn't be surprised if Valve was. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple was an interested party, all trying to make sure that this game and the way the ratings classifications are done just in generally are not as draconian as they are right now. Like the quote on the original ruling was, in the board's opinion, the game's drug use mechanism of making game progress less difficult constituted an incentive for reward for drug use. Therefore, the game exceeded the R18 classification because of drug use related to the incentives and the reward. So, take that for what it is. I imagine you can argue that they were right. I don't disagree with them saying that the way it seems like We Happy Few has been developed, taking a drug does act as an incentive or reward. In the exact same way that taking the drug Atom in Bioshock constituted a incentive reward. And oddly, either this rule didn't exist when Bioshock came out, or maybe Bioshock was never released in the in Australia.
I appreciate your
Seems like they're getting more strict. Definitely feels like that. The classification re-review is scheduled for July 13th. And this was a PC Gamer article that says thanks Kotaku at the end, so yeah, just one person writing another person's article over and over again. Like, Jeff Grossman had an interesting point, he said, where the number one thing that got you hired, in his opinion, as an old video game reviewer, was your ability to just, as quickly as possible, get through a game. Which that certainly might color why so many of the mainstream video game journalists don't seem like they even care about or like to play games, is because they have never, or at least in their career, they've never approached video games in the way that they should be approached. Imagine if all like food critics only ate food after eating like the hottest habanero peppers you can find, and so they've just burned out their taste buds. Or imagine all the art, like painting and art critics, only looking at paintings upside down. It's just not a normal way, or the way that media was designed to be absorbed. Now, that's not to say that I think all video game journalists should take 6 months to play every game, but they should have reasonable things. But also, to be fair with Giant Bomb, they've kind of admitted, and they're saying it very often and very obviously, that they're not really journalists in a traditional sense anymore. They're not really reviewing many, if any, games. So, yeah. They're kind of just doing quick looks and kind of just trying to be personalities. I would argue the bigger problem with the Giant Bomb crew as it stands right now, today, is that most of the crew that's still there is not interesting anymore, or was never interesting. So the personalities just aren't there. Let's see. Moving on though, let's just try and speed through all this. PC Gamer has an article, Too Many Cooks creator, I assume that is the Too Many Cooks Adult Swim video, takes on YouTube and Twitch culture in a new nightmarish video. It's the guy that made the 2014 Adult Swim Too Many Cooks thing.
In the light's name.
Which is something I think people should check out at some point in their life, because it's pretty funny, but it's also rather surreal and crazy. I don't, however, think that this has anything really to do with video games. It's just them probably trying to top themselves, and they'll never be able to do it. So this and
face the light.
Let's see, this and this. And return. Gematsu has an article, 12 minutes of the Messenger gameplay. New footage from E3. Apparently the company that makes the Messenger is called Sabotage. Not great names. Let me watch this trailer. I'm looking at the animation for this game, The Messenger, and it looks like it's another 8-bit pixel NES game clone. Well, I've seen just like too many of those already in my life, and I definitely haven't played very many at all, and I still feel burnt out.
Face the light.
This looks like it's a Ninja Gaiden ripoff as well. All this seems like. Yeah. Platforming as a ninja, and eventually you get to advise. It actually looks a lot like Strider. Maybe Strider is a better reference than Ninja Gaiden is. Let's see. And it's a Devolver Digital published game, but I really have no reason right now to even wishlist it. It just looks so similar. Maybe it'll be a really high quality one, and I guess I'll wishlist it for in that insane hope that it will be one of the highest quality versions of. Let's see, if I make that 5 and then attack, would that work? I don't think it would. Yeah, but no real interest in the Messenger. It's too early. There was a video I saw on YouTube from Pretty Good Gaming, which I don't talk about Pretty Good Gaming too much. I don't watch a lot of their stuff because they have a tendency to kind of ramble on and say the same thing over and over again. And if I want that kind of content, I'd probably just watch my own content. But in between the rambling in this instance, they reported on news that somebody else was reporting on about a game called Donut County, which is a game where you play as a whole and you're trying to eat things that are on the floor, and as you eat more things, the hole gets bigger and it's just ever growing, kind of like Katamari Damacy, except for instead of rolling a ball, you're a hole, which, alright, fine enough. But that guy announced this game, Donut Country, like 5 years ago, and he announced it and gave it way too much publication when it really shouldn't have had any. And like he talked about it and probably didn't succeed or benefit from talking about it at all, just because of, let's see, can we play Tavern Brawl now? Yes, we can. Otherwise, we're done with the Asian account. So because he talked about it, and it's this individually created, it's an individually created game that's taken 5 years. Somebody made a clone of it, and they're talking about how easy it is for somebody to make a clone of a game even before it comes out if you talk about it. And I think they were making that as a bad thing, and on the face of it, it feels like a bad thing. What is it? What are we supposed to do? Things have gotten a little underhanded here. Bring 6 unique cards and hide them under the table. They could swing the match for you forever. Okay. 6 unique cards. Let's take one of those. Let's see, maybe one of those. Maybe one of those. One of those. One of those. One of those. Probably not the best cards ever, but seems like a decent choice. So let's see how this plays. I kind of see it as a good thing that clones are out there and companies are willing to make clones. Not because I want clones in the market, particularly on Steam. Nobody wants Steam flooded with bad games or just cloned to some other games. Although, it's a very nebulous term to split between a game that is a clone of another game and a game that is just inspired by another game, but is still good enough to then justify. And see, this king looks more red to me. But the danger, the idea and the danger of having something like that as an issue, that somebody is going to take your idea and steal it, has worked rather well in every other industry. Like, you don't write a book or say you're writing a book and show the first few chapters and then wait 5 years to publish that book. If you did that, somebody's going to steal your ideas, rewrite it, and then maybe you could win a copyright claim, but it's not going to really matter if you could. Discovered chess piece, let's not do that.
Job's done.
You don't make a movie and give people screeners of that movie and wait 5 years to release it. You just don't have that incredibly long amount of time to develop in which you're talking and trying to advertise an idea, but you're also in the middle of developing. Oddly, you would think things like Yandere Simulator would also suffer from something like this, where somebody else would have stolen Yandere Simulator's idea. I think in the case of Yandere Simulator, though, everybody else has at least a good enough sense to not spend the money on it and their time on it. And that would be my guess as to why that hasn't happened yet. Right. But if should we kill this guy or should we just smack this guy?
Job's done.
But yeah, the thing about Donut County 2 is it's not going to be a huge success. You can kind of tell already. At best, it's going to be a Devolver Digital niche game that something I might want to play for a couple hours, but I don't think I'm going to really play it for a very long time. I didn't even think Katamari Damacy was that good. But yes, that was another article that we get a little bit more information from, or backtrack to find the actual person that wrote the actual story originally. I'm definitely feeling too sleepy still.
Job's done.
Moving on, Rock Paper Shotgun has an article, Battlefield 1 and 4 get another wave of free DLC giveaways. I don't understand what that is. Is that a free to enter giveaway of DLC, or is it just free DLC for Battlefield 1 and 4? I think give it 1, maybe 2 years, I'm gonna finally just give up on things like Battlefront, Battlefield. No, why did they bring Battlefront into it? Like, I just don't. Yeah, the article just mentions Battlefront 2. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna give up on those type of games and just say, look, it's never gonna be for me. You kind of knew, even from the beginning, that it was never really the type of game you wanted to play. Which would be fine. Moving on, PC Gamer, World of Warcraft begins phasing out artifact weapons and other Legion-specific features. Say goodbye to your glorious weapons, because once the Battle for Azeroth pre-patch launches, they'll be useless but still pretty. So... So we're getting more World of Warcraft lore, I suppose, in this next expansion, as I guess you always do in an expansion. Speaking of announcing a game way too early, CD Projekt Red, somebody from CD Projekt Red, directly came out and said that a Cyberpunk 2077 demo at E3 was actually pre-alpha, which once again I feel the need to point out there's no such thing as before alpha or earlier than alpha. That just means BS. Let's see. As far as World of Warcraft, artifact weapons aren't the only thing slowly being phased out with preparation in their expansion. As the blog post describes, the Mage's Tower on the Broken Shore will now activate 24/7, so players can do its trial and unlock that highly dual unique artifact weapon skill. Likewise, a bunch of achievements are being turned into feats of strength once the pre-patch launches. Blizzard's way of effectively retiring them and their rewards. That means you have only a few weeks left to earn certain mounts that drop from the latest raids. Like, I don't really know who if anybody would still be playing World of Warcraft at this time. Like, it seems like it's just been going on way too long. Feels like you could have started playing World of Warcraft in your mid-20s, and if you're still playing it now, you'd be in your late 40s. You're approaching the point where you'd just be an old person who's playing the same game over and over again because you don't want to try anything different or new. There's a full list on the blog post for World of Warcraft, and Battle for Azeroth launches August 14th. But a pre-patch will bring a lot of exciting changes before then, according to Rock Paper Shotgun. Even video game journalists don't bother to try to write articles about World of Warcraft, so that definitely tells you something. Moving on, Game Sutra has an article. The streaming-only RPG looks like to build on Twitch Play's Pokemon model. So what is this game called? Let's see. It's called Death's Door Aftermath, a streaming-only RPG available exclusively through Microsoft's Mixer streaming platform. I see. Microsoft gave him some money. Death's Door, for the one picture I see, doesn't look super interesting, and there's literally nothing.
Care for a game?
It's the Gamma Sutra is saying here that makes sense or adds anything to it. Let's see, play this. And then try this, I guess. turn. A game called Koihime Inbu Roya Rai Rai has been announced for the PS4 and PC, due out July 12th. It's a side-scroller fighter game. PS4 and Steam. Launched July 12th. No indication here that it's only going to be a Japanese-only game or Western, Eastern game. Let's watch the trailer and see what it looks like. Also, no, I'm still working on the chat. I don't like, my only solution that I know would work right now is not the one I want to do, which would be to simply, I guess, like, I don't even know what to really change here. If I didn't post a introductory message in every chat stream, then you wouldn't see the white. That's about all I can say. Let's see. Yeah, this is a side-scrolling fighting game. It looks fine. It looks like it's mostly anime girls. Maybe all anime girls fighting each other. I wouldn't put it past Japanese to not want to mix the genders in a fighting game. You don't actually even see that. Dragon Ball Fighters, for example, is kind of a great example of how both in the Dragon Ball TV series there wasn't a ton of female fighting characters, and there definitely were some, but just not a lot. And in the fighting games, they continued with that idea. They didn't spend the effort and the money to create half a dozen of female characters, and I don't know what you really do with the knowledge that, like, Frieza is supposed to be a female in the Dragon Ball universe, because Frieza's this weird looking alien, so no human female can relate to playing as Frieza. So yeah, that's not what I think people are trying to get at when they say they want to play as a female character.
Job's done.
Moving on. PC Gamer has an article, Great Moments in PC Gaming. The Guardian speaks in Ultima 7. And seems like that's all this article really is about, is just talking about an extremely old game, and whoever the writer of this game is, Richard Cobbett, actually, like, his nostalgia for a specific point that honestly I think
Job's done.
he's probably not unique on, but I imagine I didn't play Ultima 7. It wasn't one of the games that most people, I imagine, had played. So they're talking about nostalgia for a niche game that very few people will be nostalgic for. A game, according to Game Master, called Black Sad Under the Skin is coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC in 2019. Seems like you're playing as animals in some kind of, like, what kind of game is it, I wonder? That's always the question. What kind of game is it?
Job's done.
Let's see. Apparently Black Sad is a comic book series. Never heard of it. It almost feels like it's an attempt to do a Telltale-esque story-driven series without having any of the real ability to pull that off. Just gonna end here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take a nap after streaming today. We've got a game on Steam called City Sweeper Clean It Fast. It doesn't look great. Looks like a mobile phone port. Just probably a basic asset for $4.99. Steam summer sale is still going on, by the way. So introducing your game during the summer sale, probably not a great idea. Also, introducing your game at full price, I imagine not the greatest of deals here. See if I can do this
Job's done.
and then get 4 more damage somewhere. That's what I need to do. They have the Hearthstone blog has the June 2018 ranked season back in blue. There's been some complaints about the matchmaking just being really bad and unfun recently, in the real recent. So a lot of people are wondering if something's going wrong, or if the game is reacting and acting the way they expect it to.
Job's done.
And there's not 100% certainty it is. Let's see, there's a game on Steam that came out called Rhombus Legends. This is an early access free-to-play game. Seems like it's doing the pixel graphics thing again for some kind of top-down strategy game, but the graphics just don't look good enough. It's free to play or early access, so like I'm not sure I can make the claim, well, they got the price right, because maybe they didn't get the price right if free to play actually means something online. So,
Job's done.
having to deal with microtransactions. This game is first game by that developer. Let's see, is this one in English? Nope, that's just a Chinese only game, so I don't have to deal with that. Let's not talk about that one yet, because that's going to take longer. Luminous Remastered is 96% positive on Steam already. It came out June 26th. It's a casual indie music puzzle game. It's a kind of combination of Tetris and a music rhythm game, and I believe this also might be the first Luminous game that's come out on Steam. It's from the same developer who made Res Infinite, and that definitely would have been a game I would have wanted to buy during the Steam summer sale. I wish I had the budget for it. It's 40% off right now at $14.99 to buy Res Infinite or Luminous Remastered. I guess in this point I might as well just buy Luminous Remastered and make it, if I was going to spend the money, and play the newer game. See if that gets me a few more views on Twitter. Let's see. Tavern Brawl. They've decided to give us a crappy Tavern Brawl, and so I guess I still want to try and succeed there. So I'll probably change up the cards in the next recording. That's going to be it for this recording though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, particularly right now while the Steam Summer Sale is going on, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and give me either a game on my wish list or just a random game you want to see me cover, or send me a gift card. All of those would be rather helpful. Or you could direct message me a Steam code if you happen to just have those. That's going to be it for this recording. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.